Hey, Flimsy Lunch Trade, welcome to our Friday edition video, where our Friday highlight is dropping it down to mid-tier, Tier 5, and featuring the Tier 5 French battleship. See if I can pronounce this correctly. The Bretagne. I looked up how to pronounce this ship, and for the last several years, I've just referred to this ship as the Bretagne. But this is a French Tier 5 battleship. It is a region in France on the Atlantic coast. I think it's west of Paris, as I learned a little bit more in pronouncing the name of the Bretagne. And I don't know how much more I'm going to be able to pronounce this ship correctly, but I will try my darndest. I thought I should probably at least try to figure out how to pronounce this ship so I don't have the what do you say, the grammar police swarming into my comments. So at least for this ship, no guarantees on the Worcester. Okay, so the Tier 5 Bretagne. I think I really like playing Agincourt. I actually don't know if I'm pronouncing that ship's name right, but I've really enjoyed my experience in playing the Bretagne. I don't know why that is. Maybe because, I mean, her speed isn't like, I mean, compared to the New York, this ship feels a little more comfortable to play. Now, the Bretagne has 5 340mm guns. According to the history of this ship, this was a French series of battleships they built in response to the British super dreadnoughts, and so they were developed directly from their preceding class, and they carried the 10 340mm guns in a more rational scheme, is the wording used in the WoW's wiki. So this ship, well, let's talk a little bit more on the surface level, just general things about the ship. Although I do need to say, if you love CVs, then you're probably going to want to not watch the end of this video. If you love watching CVs die, then please watch this video all the way through to the very end, because something really cool happens I've never seen in my almost 3 years of playing Warships. Anywho, so this ship, without concealment on your commander, you will be running 14.8 kilometer conceal. With concealment, you will be running at 13.4. And now in this video, I can't remember if I had just a 10-point or if I had a 14-point commander already. Primarily due to the fact that typically I take fire prevention first. And that's the case here in this video. I know I started with at least fire prevention first, and then I think for the 14-point, I went for the one that gives you the additional heal. But I don't know if that's in this video or not, because this video is slightly a little bit old. I was going through some of my history and trying to figure out a ship to feature today. I want to really feature St. Vincent, but I need some more games St. Vincent, I think, before I can honestly review it and give you guys my best honest opinion. So, the Bretagne. So you got 340mm guns. You got 10 of them. They do have a pretty... You're going to want to build into turret traverse. Or on the commander grease the gears, you are going to want that, because otherwise it's 45 seconds, 180-degree turn time. So I think we have it down to like somewhere in the low 30s. But I probably on the the third slot, I've probably taken aiming systems modification, because I just tend to like bettering my dispersion on battleships. Otherwise, the main battery modification that improves your turret traverse is a-okay on this ship. In terms of the hull of the ship, you start off with 38,300 hit points for the stock hull A, and then you can increase hull A to hull B, giving you 41,700 hit points. So a little bit better there. I think the A gets slightly better as well, if I remember correctly. And then you also have range. So I do have built into the range for this. The French battleships don't have the most range in the world, and that's especially true for the stock aiming systems. Although I can't quite, or gunfire control system, excuse me. But I'm not entirely sure what the stock range is. Building into it, looks like we're 18.2 if I caught that correctly on the mini map. And then also propulsion you can build into. You go from 19.9 knots to 21 knots, and you can improve that even further with the Sierra mic flag if you wish to go even a little bit faster. So not so bad. And here you can see in this position, we're just basically kind of chilling out here because the Arizona and the Congo took a bit of an aggressive posturing. So we've been working the high explosive, some armor piercing, and doing just fine here. So probably with this Congo coming out, we can switch to armor piercing because I'm waiting and Arizona does go down. But this Congo is definitely taking his time and he doesn't want to simply rush out here. But we're going to switch to the AP, even though I don't have expert loader to shorten that time. What do I think in general about this ship? In general, I think the Bretagne, I'm still remembering to, hopefully I'm pronouncing the name correctly still. It's a decent Tier 5 battleship. I quite like it. I don't know how I feel about the Normandy going up to the Tier 6 so far. But this ship I have enjoyed playing. I think it's a pretty good Tier 5 battleship in general. It's pretty straightforward because really this ship, of course, revolves around the guns. It's not like you're trying to get your secondaries off. You don't have all these consumables, these gimmicks, things of that nature. Your consumables, as we get a nice hit in there, revolve just around your damage control party and your repair party, right? So you just play the ship around the guns and angling. So for even newer players, I think this battleship is a friendly playing experience, just because it kind of boils down to, one being Tier 5, but the other aspect of just playing a ship in the game that is about the main guns and angling your armor when possible, right? Because, high explosive is okay on this ship, but of course, if you are able to get the armor piercing off on this ship, all the better. As me and Doom are working this flank, and we're collapsing, we've collapsed the flank officially now, and we're going to push up here. And there's also going to be some interesting chat in the, So you're going to see us have a discussion, and I think this guy was a new player, and he was really upset about how this interaction went. I don't understand. Anyhow, WoW's Wiki on this ship. Pros. Main battery ballistics are great. I definitely agree with that. They feel really good, and the shell travel time doesn't feel slow. The ship is known to have respectable AA. I would just say the AA is okay for Tier 5. I mean, to say the AA on a battleship Tier 5 is okay, I think it's good to say. Agincourt, I think it has no AA, so, the Bretagne has AA, so that is helpful, of course. Your belt armor extends to the bow, so that's really interesting. So when we do the upgrade and commander build on the ship tomorrow, I will show you that. The third turret faces forward, giving it fairly good angles. Talking about the one in the mid of the ship. So that you can see that you have 2 turrets on the bow, 2 on the stern, and 1 in the mid. And you can see that not too bad in terms of the firing solution that you have with that third turret. Citadel is well sloped and protected, very helpful. So if you did get caught at broadside, there's good chances that you maybe not get citadeled. Maybe you just take the full pins though. Relatively small for a battleship of this tier, which makes her harder to hit, especially at a distance, and that's quite true. You compare this ship to other Tier 5 battleships in the game. I like picking on the New York for some reason. I just didn't really enjoy playing the New York so much. I mean, it's okay, but it's not that great. But when you have decent speed, you can see right now it looks like we're going 20, we're hitting 22 knots. So that means I have taken the Sierra mic flag. So 22 knots at Tier 5 is very helpful. But relatively small helps. You don't have so much ship and tonnage to move, quote unquote, helping your maneuverability, rudder shift, even perhaps a little bit. Cons, slot only 21 knots. looks like we're going 22.2 because we're not touching our rudder shift right now. Let's see our mic flag. I mean, you could say that for practically all Tier 5 battleships. All of them are slow at 21, slow, roughly around the 20 knots. But getting up 22.2 knots is allowing us to make greater coverage on this map. Can be overmatched in most places. True, it's not a tanky battleship. But if you work the armor that you're given and you angle well, it will really help you out nicely. Turrets traverse slowly. I did comment on that in the beginning. I think stock is 45 seconds for a turret traverse, but you can build into it with something like grease the gears, or if you really want to have turret traverse in your third slot on your ship, I don't remember what the heck that's called. Yeah, I don't see it. So that's helpful. And the other thing is that this has the second lowest health pool of all Tier 5 battleships. I don't know how much that's still true. Watch this salvo. Because as Wargaming introduces more and more ships in the game, some of these WoW's wiki articles can get outdated. As we watch for anticipation for this last salvo. The black ribbons. So, but if you're wanting to just chill at Tier 5, then I think the Bretagne is a very good, balanced Tier 5 battleship, in my opinion. Your mileage may vary with other people. But the ship overall is just really nice and feels very comfortable to play. Now, resuming into our positioning, basically we worked on collapsing the flank. We collapsed the flank, our team's done quite well, and now it's just the two CVs hiding behind the island, which they typically do here on this map. And as you can see, both carriers are really low in health. And I'm not sure if I'm going to spoil this in the, how do I say this, the title of the video. But as you watch here very closely, both CVs watching. Simultaneous CV Fun Police Sky Cancer Death. I was laughing. That made me very happy. So we're going to end with 86,000 damage, 40 shell hits, get some of the Citadel ribbons, 3 destroyed, picking up, I think, Strike Team, and then the other one was the General Offensive with 2 fire set. Going to team score, we're going to place 3rd on the team with 1,246 base XP, with our Clan Commander, Doombeagle, doing really well. He really loves playing the Kamikaze and GTVR at little lower down as he died to a submarine, which is unfortunate. You can see the damage spread out here. I didn't actually notice that. We took no damage this game. That is quite humorous. Apparently we had an invisible force shield around our ship. Because that's something else I didn't catch about this video replay until the end. But pretty much when it comes to the playstyle of the ship, I'm sorry I didn't really get to talk too much about that. But it really just goes back to where I say the ship just revolves around playing with the main battery guns and angling your armor when best and able to. Because all battleships are quite slow, if you overextend yourself here at Tier 5 into too many enemy ships, then you will die very quickly. As you saw happen with the Congo and the other battleship. I don't remember who he was now off the top of my head. But you just want to take your time, work the things down. The ship does kite decently well, in my opinion. You can see we're set up in a kiting angle because I think it was Arizona and Congo were pushing up, right? So then we're just going to chill and get them eliminated, and then we can push into the enemy spawn, which is what we did. So angle your armor and just work on aiming well with these 340mm guns, and I think you'll enjoy the ship if you decide to play it here at Tier 5. So tomorrow we'll do the upgrade commander build video on this ship. If you liked today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe if you do want to see more. If subscribed, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. And next Friday, we will have a video on St. Vincent. We'll jump back up to Tier 10 with the British battleship / battle cruiser. So until next time, take care.